guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Let's do another makeup look. I decided to do another one where I don't talk because I was listening to music again. Today we prepped the face with Caudalie Beauty Elixir, my usual go-to. My primer today was the One Size Secure the Sweat. I love this when I'm going out because if I start dancing, it does kind of prevent the sweat from like ruining my makeup. And instead of foundation today, I decided to use my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter in 4.0 medium. And I actually use this as a base. So when I remember when this first came out, Emily Jean Beauty had introduced me to this and I loved it, but I always used it as a highlighter and I felt like it didn't have enough coverage for me. But I really wanted a glowy look, but I did not want the foundation look. I wanted it to be kind of like glowy and beautiful. And that's exactly what I got once I blended this out. So I did use my sponge and of course it was damp and you're going to see like this beautiful glow. It doesn't give a very good coverage though. For brows, I also changed it up a little bit. I'm using the Urban Decay Brow Blade Ink Cookie like I usually do, but I decided to use the waterproof liquid side. I never use this side, but it does give a little bit more of a natural finish. And I find for people with brows that are like wider, but a little bit more sparse with less hairs in between, it works so amazing. With me, my eyebrows are a bit more bushy, but it still gives me like a nice natural look. And so every now and then you have to shake it. And because I haven't really used it much, it's harder to get it to work. So you can see that I'm vigorously shaking it here. And then on top of that, I do go over it with the Benefit Brow Gel, the 24-hour brow gel. And again, this is probably not necessary because the Urban Decay Brow Blade is waterproof. And so it's probably not going to go anywhere. But I like to have my eyebrows kind of like, I do it in a fashion where I push them up and then I kind of like move them to the end, like towards the tip of the eyebrow. And it just looks really, really good. So we're going to continue filling in the eyebrows with the liquid tip. It's almost kind of like a brush tip, actually, like a brush pen, really. So here we're using the Benefit Brow Gel. And as you can see, I'm just brushing them up and then out. And it just gives like the most natural look. And when you use the waterproof pen, it doesn't move around like the pencil side would. And you can see that I am dancing here. So next, I lined my eyes. I did not show that part, but I used the Rare Beauty True Black Waterproof Pencil Gel Liner. And also later on, well, here you can see I'm using it now, the Too Faced Better Than Sex Black Liquid Liner. Except because I'm not putting any shadow on the lower lash line, I like to fill in the spaces between my lower lashes as well as the top. It just gives a little bit more of a dark look. It helps my eyelashes to stick when I put them on the top, and it just makes my eyelashes look a lot thicker. Okay, so we're going to continue doing that. I usually don't do a thin, like a super thin line, but it's not super thick either. I never do a cat eye because I'm really terrible at it, but I just use it to fill in the sparse areas between my eyelashes. So next, we're going in with kind of contour bronzing cream here. I've found my Nars Laguna bronzing cream again. I fell in love with this all over again. I love this product, you guys. If you haven't tried a bronzing cream or a contour, get this. For someone who has lighter skin tone than me, I would definitely recommend it too. I'm using the 3 here because I find that it's got a bit more of a shade, like a more neutral tone shade rather than a warming bronze color, which is why I prefer it. So I put it in all the same areas where I contour on my temples, my cheekbones, under my lip a little bit, along my nose. Sometimes I blend it out really well though. This is a bit warmer than the Rare Beauty Solace contour that I have been using. But you know what? It looks so natural. You can't even tell. Like nobody would be able to notice. I also put it along the perimeter of my forehead and blend it down into my temple and my contour on my cheek. And then I just keep blending. Usually when I'm using my sponge, it gives me the most natural look. And it's just my favorite product to use because it blends so flawlessly and it's so nice. For my blush and my lip color today, I'm using the Benefit Love Tint in the shade Fiery Red. It's almost like a stain. You can use it for your lips and cheeks, and this color is gorgeous. It looks like you're outside, and it's really, really cold, and your cheeks are flushed. And sometimes I'll blend it down my cheek a little bit to make it more flushed looking. And then I'm putting it on my lips, and it's a stain, so it's a little bit more difficult than using like a normal lipstick. So you kind of have to blend it out a little bit and smush your lips together. But on top of that, I added the Too Faced Peach Puff Diffused Matte Lip Color. Unfortunately, you cannot buy that product anymore. I believe it was gone forever ago. I bought it at Ulta. This is it here. And it just gives a little bit more of a vibrancy to this look. On top of it, I actually had a recent purchase. It was the Clinique Black Honey Almost Lipstick. And I'm sorry, but I am obsessed. I've seen this Black Honey thing all over Facebook, and I wanted to find out what brand actually was the original that came from, I think it was Lord of the Rings, that the elf girl wore in that movie. And that was what it was. It was the Clinique Black Honey. Okay, so as we're finishing up this look right now, we are going to continue blending. So I don't know, I just decided to add more blush because as soon as I add the lip color or finish the eyes up, I'm like, oh, I need to add more blush because I feel like I've lost it. So here you can see that I'm blending it down my cheek a little bit, and I add a little bit to the forehead to also blend, like, I don't know, balance the look, I suppose. So setting spray was the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. We're going in with mascara and lashes. I know that looked super quick. I used the L'Oreal Lash Paradise Extra Black. And then we're going to do concealer. And this is actually the last step. So I went in with the Westman Atelier concealer in the shade Atelier L3, which I believe stands for light 3. And so this is the only part about not wearing foundation or putting concealer on before these products. So what I found is that if I use concealer before the products and then I put the other products on, it kind of tends to take off the concealer. So I'm doing this a bit backwards. Usually I always do my concealer like right after my moisturizer or toner or whatever. But in this case, we went a little bit backwards. But you know what? It still turned out to be great. And here I am singing again. I can't help it. I'm just loving how everything looks. So where I put concealer, I'm going back in with a bit of that blush just to kind of cover it up and touching up the cheek area once more. So yeah, I'm obsessed with this color. I probably will only do the one look with this though, because it's pretty repetitive if I do it again and again. There might be times I will copy this look on various nights, so I don't always film it. But that is it for this video. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give the video a thumbs up if you did enjoy it. If you are new, I would love if you would consider subscribing to my beauty YouTube channel or give the bell button a click to be notified when I upload new videos. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye, bye.